I never thought family could carve out your heart with a butter knife. But there I was, watching my own mother lean in close to the HR director, her glossy red lips curling into that fake sympathetic smile she reserved for PDA meetings and country club brunches. Madeline's brilliant. Of course, she purred. But she's always been unstable. You know, after that little incident with the internship last year. Lies. All of it. And the worst part, my brother, Ethan, sat across the room, pretending to scroll his phone. But I caught the flicker in his eyes, the gratitude, the complicity. By the end of the day, he'd landed the six-figure analyst gig at Goldman Sachs. And I was left with a rejection email that smelled like her Chanel no. 5. But that was just the appetizer. The real feast came when I woke up screaming in his skin, his voice rasping out my name like a curse. It started 6 months ago, in the pressure cooker hell of Manhattan's job market. I'm Madeline Harper, 26, fresh off an MBA from NYU, top of my class, no less, with a resume that could have wallpapered a boardroom. I'd clawed my way through night shifts at a dingy coffee shop to pay for those tuition bills, all while Mom cooed over Ethan's natural talent from his half-assed degree at some state school upstate. Our family was the picture of upper-middle-class dysfunction, Dad buried in his law firm, oblivious as a goldfish. Mom, Victoria, the queen bee of Greenwich Village socialites, with her yoga retreats and non-profit boards that masked her iron-fisted control. And Ethan, the golden boy, 28, charming enough to sell ice to Eskimos but lazy as sin, coasting on Mom's connections. The interview was supposed to be my ticket out. Goldman. The dream. I'd prepped for weeks, mock sessions, wardrobe tweaks, even a vision board tacked to my closet door in my shoebox Brooklyn apartment. Mom insisted on driving me. For moral support, she said, her Mercedes purring like a contented cat as we sliced through midtown traffic. Ethan tagged along uninvited, sprawled in the back like he owned the place. Don't sweat it, Mads, he drawled, popping a piece of gum. If you bomb, I've got your back for the next one. We arrived early. The lobby a cathedral of glass and steel. Interns buzzing like bees around the honeypot. I smoothed my pencil skirt, heart hammering, while Mom chatted up the receptionist like they were sorority sisters. Ethan vanished to grab coffee, reappearing just as my name was called. The panel was intimidating. 3 suits, 2 men and a woman, all sharp as switchblades. I nailed the behavioral questions, walked them through my capstone project on sustainable fintech like it was poetry. Then the curveball. Tell us about a time you handled a high-stakes failure. I froze for a split second, mind flashing to the internship debacle 2 years back. A coding error I'd taken the fall for. Ethan's screw-up. Actually, during our summer at Dad's firm. He'd begged me to cover, tears in his eyes, promising to make it right. Mom backed him. Of course. Family protects family. Darling. So I did, tanking my reference and watching him skate free. I learned resilience, I said smoothly, spinning it into gold. They nodded, impressed. That's when Mom struck. While I stepped out for water, she cornered the HR director in the hallway. I saw it from the vending machine, her hand on his arm, voice a velvet blade. Ethan hovered nearby, feeding her lines. Unstable, she whispered. Erratic under pressure. We love her. But the director's brow furrowed. By the time I returned, the vibe had shifted, polite smiles turning perfunctory. We'll be in touch, the woman said. but her eyes said otherwise. We piled back into the car. Mom, all sunshine. You were wonderful. Sweetie. They'll call soon. Ethan grinned, fist bumping the air. Told you I'd have your back. My phone buzzed an hour later. Rejection. Not a fit. I confronted her that night over takeout lo mein in her pristine kitchen, the city lights twinkling mockingly through the floor-to-ceiling windows. What did you say to them, Mom? Her fork paused midair, blue eyes icing over. Darling, opportunities are scarce. Ethan needs this, his future, our family's legacy. You've always been so independent. You'll land on your feet. Ethan slunk and then, avoiding my gaze. It's not personal. Mads. Business is business. Not personal? It was a gutting. That night, I tossed in my lumpy futon, rage simmering like bad coffee left on the burner. Dad called the next day, clueless. Heard Ethan got the gig. Proud of you both. I hung up, staring at the ceiling cracks that mapped out my shattered plans. Rent due, loans piling, and now this black mark on my record. But Mom's betrayal cut deepest. She'd always played favorites. Sure, Ethan's soccer trophies on the mantle, my debate awards stuffed in the attic, but this was sabotage with a smile. I spiraled for days, pounding pavement for freelance gigs, dodging Mom's petty texts. Chin up, buttercup, brunch Sunday. Ethan posted his new chapter on LinkedIn. All filters and humble brags, tagging the firm. Likes poured in, including from the HR guy. I screenshotted it, filed it away like evidence in a murder trial. Revenge fantasies flickered. Anonymous tips to his boss. Slashing tires in the garage. But nothing stuck. Until the accident. It was a Thursday. Storm-lashed streets flooding the village. I'd caved to Mom's brunch invite, needing answers more than mimosas. Ethan was there, fresh shave and tie, regaling her with orientation stories. The team's killer, already scouting me for a project lead. Mom beamed, squeezing his hand. I picked at my eggs Benedict, throat tight. Congrats, I muttered. Must be nice having Mom as your personal recruiter. The table froze. Mom's smile cracked. Madeline. That's uncalled for. Ethan shifted. Guilty. Hey. I earned it. Lightning cracked outside, thunder rumbling like God's own laugh. We argued, low at first, then venomous. You stole it, I hissed. She handed it to you on a silver platter. Mom stood, wineglass trembling. Enough, you're jealous. Always have been. Ethan is the one who. A screech of tires cut her off. The doorman shout. Incoming. We bolted to the window just as a delivery truck hydroplaned, slamming into a parked cab across the street. Sparks flew. But that wasn't the freak part. No. The real weirdness hit later. After the cops cleared the scene, and we stumbled out for air, rain soaking us to the bone. Ethan and I, side by side on the slick sidewalk, arguing still. A down power line snapped free, hissing like a snake, arcing toward us in a blue-white flash. I remember the jolt, electric fire racing through veins, the world inverting. His scream in my throat. Blackness. When I woke, it was in a hospital bed, beeps and antiseptic sting. But my hands bigger, veined, masculine. I bolted upright, heart exploding. Mirror across the room. Ethan's face stared back, slack-jawed, hazel eyes wide with my terror. What the fuck? His voice, my brother's voice, boomed out. I touched the stubble. The broader jaw. Body swap. Impossible. Sci-fi bullshit. But real. Me and him. Him. Where? Nurses rushed in. Mr. Harper? You're awake, Mr. Harper. Ethan's chart. Mom burst through minutes later, mascara streaked, clutching my his hand. Ethan. Oh God. Thank you, Jesus.
She didn't see it.
No one did. I played along, voice cracking. Mom. What happened? She sobbed about the lightning. The miracle we both survived. Where was I? They thought I was still out cold in the next room. Poor Madeline. Such a trooper. Ethan's body felt wrong, heavy, uncoordinated, like wearing a too big coat. But power thrummed in it, his height, his easy confidence baked into the muscle memory. Discharged that afternoon. Mom fussed over me, bundling us into the Mercedes. In the back seat, I caught a glimpse of the real Ethan, pale, bandaged in the rear view, being wheeled out separately. Our eyes met. His widened in the mirror, mouth forming my name. He knew. That night, alone in his sleek Upper East Side sublet, perks of the new job, I paced, fists clenched. This wasn't a dream. The swap was total, memories fuzzy at the edges. But I was me, trapped in his shell. A fluke of the storm? Divine payback? Didn't matter. Opportunity knocked, and I was answering with a sledgehammer. Mom's betrayal replayed on loop. Ethan's complicity. The job that should have been mine.
Now.
In his skin, I could walk their halls, whisper their secrets, burn it all down from the inside. First, reconnaissance. I raided his closet, crisp suits, cologne that smelled like entitlement. His phone buzzed, text from Mom, rest up, my star. Work buddies, killer first week, bro. And buried in apps, deleted messages from the HR director. Thanks for the tip on your sister. Victoria's a gem.
Proof.
I forwarded it to a burner email. Heart racing. Ethan, real Ethan, called at dawn. Voice a whisper from his hospital bed. Mads? This is insane. We gotta switch back. Panic laced his words.
How?
Lightning doesn't come with a rewind button. Silence. What if? It's permanent. I laughed. Bitter. Then you get to feel what it's like scraping by. Little brother. While I climb using your ladder. He begged. Don't do anything stupid. Mom didn't mean, she meant every word. And you let her.
Click.
Power. It tasted like black coffee and spite. Monday loomed, his first full week at Goldman. I ironed his shirt, slicked his hair, stared down his reflection. Game on, Ethan. The subway to Wall Street was a sardine can of suits. But in this body, shoulders squared, no one pushed. The tower loomed, all gleam and greed. Badge swipe. Elevators humming with ambition. His desk, my desk now, in the trading floor bullpen. Screens flickering with stock tickers. Colleagues slapped backs. Harper, ready to crush it. I nodded, channeling his bro smirk. Emails piled. Project leads. Client calls. The one Mom stole? This was it, analyst on the mergers team. Poaching deals from rivals. I dove in, my brain whirring with actual smarts, not his half-baked bluster. By lunch, I'd flagged a glitch in their valuation model, one Ethan would have missed. Boss man. Grizzled vet named Hargrove. Clap my shoulder. Sharp eye.
Kid.
This saves us a bundle. Word spread. Invites to the inner circle. Drinks at the Palm. Schmoozing with VPs. I played the part. But inside, I plotted. Mom called mid-afternoon. How's my boy? Nailing it. Better than ever.
Mom. Pause.
And Madeline?
She's
Recovering.
lie.
The real me was discharged too. Holed up in my apartment. Fielding concerned texts as Ethan. We'd coordinated a fragile truce. He stays low. I run point. But trust? Shattered as the power line. Nights blurred into strategy sessions. I hacked his laptop. Easy passwords. Mom rules 1. Unearthing the dirt. Screenshots of Mom's emails to his profs back in college. Inflating grades. Bank transfers from her charity fund, padding his loans. And deeper, the internship fuck-up. Not just a code error. Ethan had skimmed client funds. A cool $5,000 for coke-fueled weekends. I'd confessed to cover it. Per Mom's script, protect the family's name. Maddie. Ethan's our future. Rage boiled. Controversial? Hell yes. But fair? In my book, Justice wore a gray suit. Step 1. Leak the internship theft anonymously to Goldman's compliance hotline. Subtle, no names. Just dates and account trails. Step 2. Bait Mom. I texted as Ethan. Dinner tonight? Got big news.
She bit.
All eager. The restaurant was her haunt. Le Bernardine. White tablecloths and whispers of wealth. I arrived early. Nursing a scotch, his tolerance higher than mine. Thank God. She swept in, air-kissing cheeks. You look exhausted. Darling. Work too much. Irony dripped. We ordered. Seared foie gras for her. Steak for me. Small talk first, her latest gala. Dad's golf handicap. Then the big news. I leaned in, voice low.
The job.
It's everything you said it'd be. But Mads?
She's pissed.
Thinks you rigged it. Mom's fork clinked.
Nonsense.
I only advocated.
Lie.
I pulled out my phone. Ethan's phone. Playing the forwarded HR text. Her face strained. Where did you? Saw it when you left your email open last week. Bluff. But it landed. She stammered. It was for the best. Ethan's the steady one. You know how she is, impulsive. Always chasing dreams that fizzle. Steady? He'd nearly tanked Dad's firm. And the internship? That impulse I covered for him. Her eyes darted. Ancient history. We moved on.
No.
We hadn't. What if it wasn't? I slid a napkin across. Scribbled numbers, the skimmed funds. Traceable. Compliance is sniffing around old files. If it ties back. Threat hung like smoke. She paled, then rallied. That's socialite steel. You wouldn't. We're family. Family? I laughed. Ethan's timbre making it boom. You gutted mine for his leg up. The waiter hovered. I waved him off. Fix it.
Mom. Publicly.
Or I let the chips fall. She left in a huff. Check untouched. Victory tasted metallic. But back at the sublet, real Ethan pounded on the door. Wild-eyed. What the hell did you do? Mom's freaking called me. Crying about some leak. Him. in my body, slight and furious. This ends now.
Mads.
Switch back, or I'll tell everyone you're a freak. Try it, I snarled, slamming the door. See who they believe, the rising star or the jealous sister. He kicked the frame, stormed off. Tension coiled tighter. At work, whispers. Internal audit announced. Routine stuff. Hargrove pulled me aside. Heard you flagged that model. Good call.
Keep it up.
You're in line for junior partner track. Adrenaline surged. But cracks showed. Ethan's buddies noticed. You seem different.
Man.
More intense. I shrugged it off. Buried in reports. Mom's next move came via email, as Victoria CC'd me at my apartment. Darling, let's talk. For Ethan's sake. Subtext, back off. I didn't. Escalation. I doctored a memo from Ethan's inbox, suggesting Mom's nonprofit laundered donor funds. Half true. Her slush for Ethan's bailouts. Sent to a board contact.
Blind.
Controversy brewed. She called. Voice venom. You're destroying us. Is this what you want? Ruin for spite. Poetic. I hung up. Sleepless nights in his bed. Sheets too crisp. Staring at the ceiling fan, whirring like accusations. Was I the monster now? Sabotaging from shadows. Using his face as a mask. But the betrayal echoed. Her whisper in that hallway. His smug grin. No mercy. The climax hit midweek. Boardroom showdown. Goldman's execs. Mom included, her nonprofit pitched sustainable investments. Schmoozing for contracts. I sat in as Ethan, notebook open, pen poised. She spotted me, faltered mid-pitch, and partnering with visionaries like my son. Her eyes pleaded. I raised my hand. Question. Mrs. Harper. Silence. How do we ensure transparency?
Say.
With family ties influencing allocations. Murmurs. She flushed. What are you implying? I laid it out calm. Factual, the leaks, the favoritism. The internship shadow. Not all. Just enough to sting. Conflicts of interest erode trust. The room erupted, execs probing. Her deflecting with charm. But damage done. She cornered me after. In the marble lobby. Rain lashing windows like judgment. You little shit. This is my life. Tears. Real ones. I did it for him, for us. You were always the wild card.
Maddie.
Ethan? He's the legacy. Legacy. The word ignited. Legacy built on my back? Your lies? Voices rose. Security hovered. Ethan texted my phone. His panic. Stop. She's breaking. Too late. I walked out. Into the storm. His coat flapping like wings. That night. The twist cracked open like thunder. Home, his home, I collapsed. Head pounding. Mirror again, his face. But eyes mine. Weary. A knock. Not Ethan, Dad. Rain-soaked.
Grim.
Son, we need to talk. He stepped in, shedding his coat. Your mother's confessed.
The job.
The internship. All of it.
Confessed?
To what?
He sighed.
Handing over a folder, yellowed papers. My handwriting. The real confession. From 2 years back. But altered. Wait, no. My stomach dropped. Dad. I didn't write this. He frowned. Madeline did. to protect Ethan. But Victoria. She forged addendums. Made it look like you were in on the skim.
Ethan.
To keep you clean.
What?
Reversals slammed home. Mom hadn't just covered for him. She'd framed me deeper. Planting evidence I'd laundered too. A joint venture to bind us in silence. Ethan knew. Partially thought it was mutual cover. But her? Pure manipulation. Securing his path by dooming mine twice over. And the swap. I whispered. Dad's eyes sharpened. Lightning strike survivors. Rare. But documented. Neural overload. Identity bleed. Docs think it's psychological. But I saw you too after, eyes wrong. Voices off. He knew. Been watching. Victoria's unraveling, non-profit audit incoming. Thanks to your tips. She'll lose everything. Guilt twisted. My revenge? It gutted her empire. But freed the truth. Ethan burst and then. My body trembling. Mads, Dad? Oh God. Collision. Hugs. Sobs. Accusations. She played us both, he admitted. I suspected.
But.
Family. We confronted her at dawn. The four of us in her penthouse. City awakening gray. She paced. Wineglass shattered on the rug. It was necessary. Ethan couldn't fail. Not after your father left me to raise you alone. Dad stiffened another bomb. I never left.
Vic.
You pushed me out. With your schemes. Layers peeled. Her affairs. His long hours a cover for escape. The favoritism? Armor against abandonment. Twisting love into control. I stood in Ethan's skin. Voice steady. Give it back.
Mom. The job.
The truth. She laughed. Broken. Too late. Ethan's tainted now. Resigned this morning. He had noble or self-preservation. She crumpled. I did it for love.
Love.
The word hung. Debatable poison or panacea. Cops came later. Audit ledgers showing embezzlement. Not just favoritism. Arrest and cuffs. Her glare. You'll regret this. Maddie. Maybe. But as they led her away, Ethan gripped his shoulder. Switch back. Somehow. Weeks blurred. Therapy. Neurologists. Freak science probing our brains. The swap held. Stubborn as fate. But we adapted, me thriving at Goldman. Real skills shining, him rebuilding in my old gigs. Humbled.
Dad mediated.
Family therapy, a battlefield of truths. Mom's trial loomed. Plea deal whispering. Ending? Happy? In twisted ways. I led teams. Ethan mentored startups. Bonds reforged in fire. But by tragic undercurrents, her prison letters pleading forgiveness. Our reflections forever haunted. Controversial justice. Did I destroy or liberate? Readers argue, I live it. Tables turned.
Completely. And damn.
It felt like flying.